Grind don't stop. Grind don't stop. Grind don't stop. Grind don't stop. Grind don't stop.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Chewed Gum. It is Tuesday, not Tuesday. Tuesday. Why don't we call it Tuesday? It is
Tuesday.
Chewed Gum. Yeah. It's Tuesday, March 25th. I'm Promise. This is Alyssa, and I'm excited to hang out with you guys tonight. It's going to be a fun time. We've already got several calls. I'm excited about those. But if you want to get your call in, 720-619-2288. If you want to tell us what God you believe in and why, theists will be prioritized. Or if you want to call in and tell us why women should shut up and listen to men. I'd love to have that conversation. Yeah. And I'm sure Alyssa would too.
Boy, would I.
Or anything else you want to talk about relating to deconstruction, purity culture. Alyssa is a sex coach, and I learn something from her every time we do this show, also pretty much every time we talk. So she is a wealth of knowledge as well. Yeah. How are you today?
I'm good. We were just talking before we started how literally earlier today we were voice noting back and forth, and you were like walking around and there were like birds chirping and like we were just like bouncing ideas back and forth, and then I don't know what happened. It was like noon, and then all of a sudden the whole day was back to back to back to back, and I was like literally, and then I was like, oh my, it was a good day and a really busy one. I don't know how that happened.
I feel you. And I don't know about you, but my day is still not like after this, I have to go straight on to a bunch of other stuff. So I feel like this is my moment to like, we can just chill out and maybe chat with some cool callers or maybe argue with some. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds.
Both relieve stress for me, you know?
Honestly, same. And you're right there, so I'm hanging out with you the whole time. It's really great. Also, how much fun was it? If you guys haven't checked out, the Line has a podcast, if you didn't know. Mm-hmm. And we did a very all girly episode that came out yesterday morning, right? It was you and Arden and me, and we had so much fun. I loved just like hanging out, and there's something so cool about hanging out with people that are, it's kind of like having coworkers, which I miss back in my having like a million jobs all the time part of life. I don't have coworkers anymore. Like, I don't know if you ever feel this way. And so you guys are essentially, I mean, coworkers, and getting to hang out and chat and then talk about things that we really care about that matter. But also we talked a lot about Disney characters and which ones we think are hot. So there's that too.
Yeah, we did. I love that episode. Was so much fun, and I like loved being able to just, especially because me, you, and Arden together is so rare. So sometimes it's like me and Arden because you're like busy and can't be here one night, or it's obviously me and you all the time. Having the three of us all together was such a treat. I loved it, and I also I think that we're starting to find balance with the podcast of like how much of it is talking about like politics and things like that, and how much of it is also just like a little more lighthearted. I feel like recently we've started to get some really good balance, and so the podcast is hitting its stride.
Look at us. And it'll be back again Friday morning. Not with me, but I don't know who. So that'll be exciting. That'll be exciting for all of you to find out. Alyssa will be there. I think Jimmy will be there. It'll be a great time. I see we already have some callers. Shall we jump straight to those?
Yes, let's do it. I'm down. We actually have Alyssa, who is a regular super chatter, who is called in, and I'm so excited to talk to them.
Me too.
Shall we start?
Let's do
with
it.
Alyssa?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Alyssa, are you there?
Yes, hello.
Hi! How are you? It is so great to actually be able to talk to you.
Meet.
A little nervous, but I'm good. It's good to chat with you guys.
Yay! I'm so glad that you called.
Yeah.
What did you want to talk
about today?
So a little embarrassing for me, but I'm going to be brave. So I've lived as a Christian for the first 40 years of my life, and during that time, I never got married. One of the catalysts, actually, that helped lead me out of Christianity was the fact that I had prayed back in my 20s that I would get married, and then that never happened. Very demonstrable lack of evidence, but that's not why I'm calling. But the point being that since I'd never gotten married and I basically lived by purity culture, I can't say I was always perfect with my online activity in my alone time, but I never got intimate with anyone. And now I'm 43 years old with no experience, well past the socially acceptable time of exploring that. And so I'm rather uncomfortable with the idea, not that I don't want to ever, I certainly do, but I'm rather uncomfortable with the idea of ever becoming intimate with anyone just because of my lack of experience.
Alyssa is going to be the queen of this conversation. So I'm just going to say my one little thing. First of all, just to make you hopefully feel less embarrassed. This phone call could easily have been me if I didn't get, married super young, because that was the whole thing, right? You don't do anything. I mean, the first person I held hands with was my fiance. So not who I'm married to now. Got some divorces. So all's well that ends well. But I just want to let you know that I could so easily be the person. I could so easily be making this same phone call and absolutely relating. So I say that to try to normalize, like, based off of how you grew up and that purity culture, that makes so much sense to me that this would be something you would call in to talk about. I love that you're calling in to talk about this, because I actually hear regularly from people in my, like, on my Instagram account and TikTok and everything, with this same issue. And a lot of times I refer them to people like Alyssa, to Recovering from Religion. That's why I'm so excited to hear what Alyssa has to say. But I just want to let you know, you are in a judgment-free zone. I am really glad we're going to have this conversation.
Yeah, I think there are more people like you than you realize. Like, I have conversations with people pretty regularly also that are in a similar situation, where they are in their late 30s or 40s and are just now kind of like a little panicky, like, oh shit, like, I think I'm behind where I thought I would be. But in reality, I think you're going to want to find partners that are compassionate and care about you as a human being no matter what. And so I think even being really open and clear and honest with when you meet someone that you might even have this interest in, or like when you just start putting yourself out there to date, having the conversation and just saying, I grew up a little differently, so my views around intimacy are like still being developed. I'm exploring it and I haven't really been intimate with anyone. And just take it really slow. Like, intimacy looks like a million things to people. Like, intimacy is moving your laundry from the washer to the dryer because you forgot. Like, their intimacy is a massage, giving someone a massage or a hug or holding hands. Like, intimacy is a huge, huge spectrum. And I would encourage you to also explore stepping into small parts of intimacy first. Like, how comfortable are you holding hands and hugging and kissing for long periods of time, and just have it be really incremental and at your pace. And the easiest way to do that is by having a really open conversation with a person that you might be going on a date with, and just letting them know, hey, I grew up in kind of what's the phrase I'm thinking of? Conservative household. And I just need a little bit of like baby steps into intimacy. And if they're willing to, if you and the person you're on the date with is willing to have a more in-depth conversation, then great. If not, that could be where you leave it, especially for like early on in the dating experience. That can be where you leave it. But what's also interesting too is that opens up a conversation about what your upbringing was like, which is a big part of you and your life, which I think will also be really valuable to have in conversation with people that you're wanting to be in relationship with. And the right people will have space for all of that. And for people who don't understand it, those are not people that you're going to want to be in relationship with anyway. But everybody has to have their first time sometime. So why not you, and why not now?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to be mindful of the delay.
No, it's so fine. Don't worry about it. So yeah, I think there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's so many people, even in this chat, who have had similar experiences. And dating in general, putting yourself out there in general, is a kind of a scary experience. So if you feel nervous and you feel anxious, that's so normal, but push past it, because you deserve to see what's on the other end of it. And there are going to be people who are going to embrace you and be so excited that you are putting faith and trust into someone to also guide you through what that process is like. Like, I would be so honored if someone was like, I haven't actually been intimate with anyone yet, but I'm open to that with you. I'd be like, okay, and I'm going to take the best care of you ever. And so I think finding someone who's able to meet you where you're at and be compassionate is going to be really, really essential. And just take baby steps. Be honest.
Yeah. Okay. I like that advice.
Yeah, like, even sometimes it's easier to write down things like this for me, where like I need to see it out of my brain. What are baby steps into intimacy? Like, maybe the babyest step is holding hands, and then the next step above that is hugging, and then the next step above that is putting your arm around someone, or cuddling, and then maybe the next step above that is kissing. Like, I would make a little ladder for yourself. And honestly, that's like a great use of like ChatGPT or something like that, would be to make that little like ladder if you're feeling like you're struggling on like all of the little steps in between. But yeah, I would really think about like what those ladder things are for you, so that you're kind of like mentally prepared for what you might be comfortable with, and just be super open about where you're at. Like, my oh my God, I'm gonna, somebody asked me for an update on my dating situation. So this is my update. My boyfriend, the phrase that he uses all the time is safe and good. And it's really sweet. And it's also, I think, like, I was like, oh, I'm stealing that. Safe and good. Like, in these conversations that you're having with potential partners, making sure that you feel safe and good and your partner feels safe and good is like top tier, and so important when you're navigating this for the first time. Like, if I had known the phrase safe and good when I was in high school, I think I would have probably had a very different experience in my dating life.
I like that. Safe and good.
Safe and good. Yeah. We as a show we're gonna steal safe and good.
I love it. I love it. That's all, like, of course, Alyssa crushed it with everything she just said. Are there any more specific questions that you had as well? I know sometimes it can feel so awkward to ask about specifics, but I don't know if there is anything that you'd like to, while we still have you on the line, if there are any more specific things that brings up that you want to ask about. Sorry, I don't know why I can't talk.
I don't know. Maybe like, how do you even date as an adult anymore? Like in high school, it was easy, because you had everyone was all around you, and now, I know there are apps, but like some of them seem sketchy. Some of them are just about hookup. I don't know how does someone navigate that?
I think a lot of that is just figuring out kind of what fits your style and your personality. I got really lucky, and basically like the one time I've ever decided to date, I got on Hinge for 24 hours and met my now husband on there. So for me, obviously I'm biased, and I'm going to say I think Hinge was great because it asked some specific questions that were important to me that I got to go ahead and put out there. So like one of the first things that my partner and I connected on was the fact that we were not theists. We were anti-Trump, and I can't remember, we both like cooking or hiking or, something like that. So it was like, and you can put on there kind of what you're looking for, if you're looking for long-term relationships or short-term or whatever. So I think the apps can be a cool place. I understand some people also have found them to be a terrible place. I'm sure a lot of it depends on what city you're in as well. But I love that idea of getting to go ahead, and for me, I didn't want to waste time. In my 30s, I was like, okay, I don't want to go to dinner with somebody and then find out that they voted for Trump. I needed to go ahead and get some of that done with. But I also know a lot of people that go to, different like dance classes in the city, and they meet people there, or, signing up for different hobbies, and, or even learning a new skill, like pottery or something. There's all kinds of things, or meetups where the goal isn't necessarily to date, but just to all get together based off of something that you have in common, because meetup.com has that. Alyssa's going to be the one with better experience than me.
But those are great suggestions. I always use the example of a pottery class. Like everyone, like I've literally never taken a pottery class.
That's probably why I have it in my head, because of you.
I don't know what that is, but like any hobby is really helpful, because then you already have something to talk about before you get into anything about, oh, do you want to go get a coffee or a drink or whatever? Because you could be like, that mug you're making is beautiful. I don't know what people do in pottery class.
We need to go to a pottery class together, Alyssa. if we're gonna talk about it, we got to be about it, I think.
I know. So yeah, any kind of hobby is helpful, because then you can talk about like the actual activity. That makes it a little easier. Even like I know that there are people who play like online games and stuff like that. There are like meetups and stuff for those types of things as well. But if doing things in person is not really your thing, I always recommend that someone said I've watched Ghost too many times. You know what? I do think of Ghost every time I talk about the pottery class. But I also always recommend that people use apps or websites that allow for you to add a lot of information, like, because it slows down the process. So things like OkCupid even, or like Hinge to me is better than something like Tinder, like things where you have a little more, like people are expecting to read a little bit more versus like just the swipey back and forth. But at the end of the day, it is sort of a numbers game. Oh wait, okay, no, sorry, I thought our sound dropped out. But it is kind of a numbers game, and you just have to like continue to put yourself out there to the best of your ability. And just remember that rejection is redirection. Very, very, very rarely in life will rejection not actually be kind of a good thing. Like, you don't want to chase down someone who's not also chasing you. And so if a person is not interested in going out with you, great. One less person for you to try and interact with, and we move on. We move, So just do the best you can to like continue to put yourself out there, and keep pushing for as many opportunities to socialize as you can. In the chat, some people are saying, like, met my partner of 13 years on OkCupid, which is awesome. Some people have had success with Facebook dating. I think just cast a wide net, and know that the rejection will happen, but it's just helping you narrow down your funnel. So you'll narrow down and narrow down and narrow down until you find someone who's really wonderful and perfect for you. And also, if you're trying to just get like experience in dating in general, I would encourage you to be flexible with what you're looking for. Nothing that's like if you are a person who really needs to not be dating a conservative person, then don't go on a date with a conservative person. But if like you're going onto these websites and you're like, I need someone who is brown hair, blue eyes, tatted up, like whatever, like loosen up a little bit so that you can get experience, because the more that you have experience going out on first dates and having these conversations, the less nervous you'll be. And you also never know.
Also, you never know who might end up being your actual quote type, because I would not have guessed. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to base this off of having to fit this certain category of how somebody looks. I'm just going to be, you know, focusing on some compatibility things, because I think that matters. And physical appearance can be part of that. But like Alyssa said, if you're stuck on this whole like, well, I always go for brunettes thing, then you limit yourself. And then you don't meet men from Finland. So
that's true.
I found in my life that oftentimes like my attraction to people tends to be like, obviously looks is a huge part, but like I found people become more physically attractive to me the more I liked their personality. So
for sure. Yeah, that's such a thing. It's so true. So yeah, you just gotta put yourself out there, and you're gonna be so great. As long as you're being honest and clear and open. Like, dating in general is vulnerable, and it's hard. But you have a whole community of people who are so excited for you to start this whole journey. Like the whole chat, we are so excited for you and are here to support you through this whole process. And I want an update when you start.
Okay. Well, it's kind of hard right now because I also take care of my dad, and there's a caregiver that comes in. He's got Alzheimer's, and there's a caregiver that comes in like 3 days a week. 2 of those days I'm usually working. So my chance to get out of the house on my own is very limited these days. But, you know, I do have some time. So.
Yeah, I mean, make the most of the time that you have. And it might also be a good opportunity for you to explore like these online things, like a website or an app. Or I was going to say like maybe online communities, but that's a little tougher. I think a website or an app. Yeah, start diving into there and cast the wide net and see what happens.
Okay, well, thank you for that.
Thanks so much for calling. Please.
Before I go, can I leave a joke with you guys?
Oh, yes!
Always.
An in-person Alishana joke. This is crazy.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite jokes. It's a little dark, but it's been one of my favorite for a couple decades. I tried to kill myself by taking 1,000 aspirin, but after the first 2, I felt better.
Good old aspirin. Good old aspirin. That reminds me, I avoid, like, I hate any kind of medication. I avoid taking pills. I don't like taking anything. And every now and then I'll get like either a horrible headache or the worst cramps ever. I'll be like, no, I'm not gonna, like, I'm fine. And then the few times I finally take a couple of ibuprofen, it's like life altering. Like, why the hell didn't I just, like, obviously it's bad for you to take all the time, but can confirm that joke is pretty accurate. Thanks again for calling. I'm so glad we got to have this conversation. And yes, please call back and update us. Or if you have any follow-up questions, we'd love to hear from you.
Okay, thank you for taking my call. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you.
You too. Talk to you in the chat.
I love that. That's so awesome. I love people in the chat are saying I look so tired and they hope I'm okay. This is called, yeah, I'm great. This is called I didn't put makeup on except for red lipstick. And clearly my red lipstick trick to try to distract you from me not wearing any other makeup is not doing its full job. So this is actually just how I look, guys.
That's the tough thing if you're wearing makeup every day. The one day that you don't, everyone's like, oh, "Are you sick?"
Right.
And I'm like,
and I don't wear makeup a lot.
No.
The thing I have naturally like sunken in eyes right here. I've had it since I was a child, like since I was born. It's always. I mean, I look like a tired 8-year-old because I have these. Like I don't know. You can kind of see it's because my cheeks are like stick out so much. So then straight on, it just looks like this.
You have great cheeks.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think it's funny because that is inevitably what I get told. Even when I post on my Instagram story, people are being sweet. They're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just look like myself." Thanks, guys. It's cute though. I appreciate the concern. I know that no harm was meant. Before we get to our next caller, which I see we've got a theist, which apparently we've talked to him before. You can still get a call in 720-619-2288, but also a reminder that super chats of $5 or more will be read at the end of the show. And I have maybe announcements, or maybe I don't because we don't have, we have some announcements. We have the hang up tomorrow with Matt Dillahunty, and guest is TBD or TBA. Then on Thursday, we have TACIS with Josie and Luxender. Then we have the Sunday show with Forrest and John Gleason. And then the Sunday show after dark with Seth Andrews and Eric SS. After that, I think we don't have April's calendar up yet. So we'll get to that. Although I'm here next Tuesday. Alyssa, will I see you next Tuesday?
Yeah, girl, you will.
Okay. Amazing. Yay. I don't know why, but I'm like a little kid and I think that is so funny that we can always say, see you next Tuesday. Shall we chat with Zeno?
Yes. Yes, we should.
I'm excited because Zeno thinks that we don't know about deductive reasoning, which I wouldn't be first of all, it's just funny, but no, we wouldn't be doing this show if we didn't know what deductive reasoning is. Hello, Zeno. How are you?
How about you?
What was that?
I said, how about you?
Doing well. So yes, deductive reasoning. If you mean asserting different premises and then following the premises to prove your logic, yes, we're well aware of that. The problem is we have to agree on the premises. So is that how you're wanting to provide your evidence for a God with deductive reasoning?
No, we can do something. Let's do something a lot easier for the audience. Just make it simple.
I think that's one of the most simple ways we could do it. But sure, let's do it however you want. It's just funny that you wanted to say, I don't think the hosts know much about deductive reasoning, but then you don't want to do it that way. Is there a reason for that?
Well, I feel like we're just going to get caught up on definitions. So it's not that I don't think you know about.
So you just want to throw out a little thing before the call. I got it. Okay, cool. This will be great. Let's hear your evidence for multiple gods. Is that correct?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's hear it.
Okay, so the God that I believe in is a being, an entity. So not necessarily a human being or something that looks like a human being. So I don't believe in any religion. I don't believe God is like some old guy in the sky or anything like that. God, for all I know, could look like a jellyfish, but it is intelligent and it has created. There's multiple gods that create. So if I ask you, like, how was the movie The Avengers created, you wouldn't say one guy made it, right? Like multiple beings made that movie, correct? You have no idea? That's a problem.
I have no idea. I don't know a lot about the Avenger movies, so pick something else.
Okay, so what about, have you ever created a piece of music? Like, do you know how music is created?
I do. I actually am a songwriter, so yes.
Oh, you're a songwriter. Perfect. So Is music
Can we actually
made by
discuss
one person?
God and the evidences for God instead of you like dumbing down this conversation for me where you say, it's like when you write a song. I understand what you mean when you say there's multiple gods and you think they create multiple things. That's enough information
Yes,
for
but
me.
for the audience, I'm
I'm pretty
explaining
sure
this
our
through a
audience
series of
They're-
analogies.
is also, they were able to figure out how to turn the show on. So I think they can follow what you just said as well.
Yeah, I don't understand the problem with the way I'm explaining it. I'm literally explaining that the way things are created is through a collective group of intelligent beings.
Got it. I understand what you're asserting. I'm waiting for us to get to
Okay.
the part where you tell me how you know these beings or being exists.
Yes, through the process of extrapolating that a group of beings are typically a group of beings with intelligence that creates things. That is the evidence.
So you're just doing the watchmaker fallacy, but like multiple watches and multiple watchmakers?
No. What I'm saying is,
Wait, are you
you
driving,
can literally
Zeno?
look. No, I'm in the car. I'm not driving.
Okay.
I'm parked.
Okay, just making sure you're not driving.
Yes. No way. So what I'm essentially saying is that because a group of intellectuals can come together, use elements that's around them to create stuff, I could use that to extrapolate. This is how we know a super being exists, super beings with an S that also create, but you don't necessarily have to observe it to know it exists. So for example, entities can exist without you knowing about it, correct? Do we have to have evidence
Are
for
we
a murder,
able to
for a
know?
murder to take place?
Are we able to know if these beings exist or not? That's all I care about.
Yes, we're able to know the same way we're able to know a murder can happen without evidence. Right?
But we know that murders
I'm
happen
asking
because
you.
of
Yeah, and I'm asking you about your specific God claims. Are we
Yeah.
able to know for sure that these claims you are making are true or not? Or are you saying just trust you and that they exist whether I believe you or not?
No. I'm not saying trust me. I'm saying trust the evidence. So the evidence we know.
I'm
to
still
be
waiting
true,
on the evidence.
if that
So
thing-
far you have.
Okay, I've given you evidence. You reject it. Let's go with another form of evidence.
I'm not rejecting
evidence-
anything. You haven't
the
given
evidence
evidence.
that you gave. The evidence that you
It's
gave
a presupposition.
it's literally because the same way that multiple people can work on a group project, this has to be a group project because you say it has to. That's not evidence.
The evidence is just a reason to believe something. That's evidence. That's the definition of evidence. So that is a reason to believe.
It's correct. And that's
because
why
we
I'm
can
still waiting on a
extrapolate.
reason. I'm still waiting on a reason to believe that there are gods.
She says she's waiting on a reason. I'm giving you reasons. Let's go with another reason.
The jump doesn't make any sense because my reasoning for why there are as many things that have been created is because cells divided over and over again and things mated with other things to create other things. Like that is my biology and evolution are also reasons for all of the diversity that we have in all of the things that
what
exist.
Is biology contingent? What is biology contingent upon?
It's contingent upon.
Why do cells replicate? We see cells replicating, but we're asking why do they replicate? So you're not accounting for the mechanisms, the code.
Because of their environment, because of biochemistry, because of physics. There's reasons, but that's not what we're here to talk about. You know, we're waiting on your evidence for why we should believe a God exists. And I'm hearing you go off on so far of what it basically sounds like a watchmaker fallacy, which is like, well, we know that humans create things, so that must mean we got created by something, which is one of the most boring arguments that I'm really tired of hitting on here. So I'm waiting on the evidence. I'm really excited for it. Ready, go.
Okay, so you're gaslighting the evidence. I'm giving you evidence.
No,
let's
you
start with the
First of
literally,
all,
the
not what
evidence you
gaslighting
gave,
is, and that wasn't
the
evidence.
evidence that
You're
you gave was
rejecting.
exactly, Forrest literally just had this conversation. Actually, no, maybe it was a while ago that I was watching
Oh
him
my
have
God.
this conversation. But he literally, the way that he described it was, you're describing it as, I don't know, therefore magic. And that's not how that
No,
works.
it's not magic. That's not. Films aren't made by magic just because you don't understand cinematography.
No,
I'm talking
about
magic.
this. Right.
It looks
Okay,
like magic
so
because it
I'm saying
appeared.
that
It
Zeno, how do
don't
we-
split. Cells don't split because of magic. They split because of biology. That's exactly my point. They split because they are biologically programmed to do that. That's my point. You're
yes,
saying
you can program
cells
things to.
split,
You can program
cells
things to
split,
replicate.
therefore magic, and that doesn't make
But
sense.
No,
Zeno,
no. You
Zeno,
can code
Zeno,
things to
how do we
replicate.
know? How do we know that movies are made by cinematographers, or whatever the correct term is to use?
Some people don't know. You literally said you don't know.
How do
So you
you
can't
and I
say
know?
we.
How do you and I know? How do you and I know
Okay,
that
so
songs are written by
I
songwriters?
know. I don't know if you know. I know because we have knowledge. Knowledge means the observation of facts and truth. Truth means comporting with reality, in congruence with reality and fact. So not everyone has the intelligence to extrapolate facts and make a conclusion. So when you said, I don't know how movies are made, that makes sense to me. A lot of people don't know how a god is an actual saint. But
cool. I'm
when you
waiting
say
for the part
we,
where you explain it to me instead of using these
I'm
long, drawn out analogies that are really poor analogies for what we're talking about and not needed either. So can you get to the part where
Okay,
you
so-
tell us? So we know you told us that the movie exists and we talked about the movie, which I assume we can agree on is the universe. Now tell us how you figured out what made the movie.
well, we have to start with I'm
If you're
sorry.
talking,
we have to
we
start.
can't hear you.
I'm sorry. We have to start with the fact that facts are prior to proof. Can we agree on that? Facts are
That
prior
what?
to proof, right? Facts are prior to proof. Is that a correct statement? Yes or no?
Maybe. Let's see where you're
No.
going with this.
I'm
Can you just get to
Maybe
your
that's
point? Zeno, can you get to your point, or is this thing where you have to follow a script
I'm getting
and
to
you
my
have to
point.
play this
What is
game?
up with
Because if you're trying to tell somebody something that's true, I'm not sitting there like, okay, now you agree with me with this, right? I'm just going to tell them, hey, look, there's somebody standing outside of my driveway. Here's a picture of it, or here, look at my camera, you can see it, or here's something they dropped on their way out. I'm presenting the evidence, and I'm not sitting there like, now you would agree with me that if someone was there, then it would mean that there was a reason they were there. So get to the evidence, please.
So you just want to craft what I have to say. That's all you want to do.
No, I want you to stop crafting what you have to say, and I just want you to tell me the truth and give me the evidence that you have. You're wasting time. This is 10 minutes. We still have gotten nowhere.
I'm not wasting
So what is your
time.
evidence?
I'm presenting it.
You keep
But
giggling.
you're
Can you just
rejecting
give us the evidence?
I'm giving it to you. All you can do is gaslight it. I'm giving it to you.
That's not what gaslighting
whatever.
is.
Okay.
You're
Tell us
literally
your
saying I'm not
evidence.
giving you the evidence. Can a murder happen without you having evidence? Yes or no? Don't dodge
Yes,
the
it
question.
can. There are many unsolved murders. Those people are
so
still
what does
dead.
that-
No. Hold on. No. I'm not willing to agree with that at all because the evidence exists. Just because we haven't found it doesn't mean.
Yes.
So there would be evidence. If something has occurred, there's evidence for it. Whether we find it or not, that's different.
What if it happened?
But if you're calling in to tell me that gods exist, if you're calling in to tell us that gods exist and you know this, then go ahead and show us how you know. Don't give me this whole long thing about how well it's happening, even though the evidence isn't, you can't see it and whatever. No,
because you want to dodge. Because you want to dodge the evidence. You're dodging what I'm asking you because it pins you down.
Zeno, there's been no evidence.
It pins you down. I'm giving it to you. All you can do is just say, "Give me the evidence." Every time I give it to you, you have no answer.
How about this?
I'm gonna give you. Can we give him 1 minute on a timer to present us with evidence?
Let's give you 1 minute 30 seconds on the timer, and I want to hear what your evidence is.
Okay, perfect.
Hold on. Let me get
Okay,
let me get my stopwatch on, and I'll let you know when you can start. Okay, ready
Sure.
and go.
All right. The evidence for God is that, number one, facts are prior to proof. So that means things, abstract entities can exist without you having evidence. Just like a murder can happen without you having evidence that it happened. So we hire detectives to try to solve murder cases. Sometimes they don't have enough evidence. That doesn't conclude that the murder did not happen. So the evidence of God is that entities can exist without you having actual physical evidence for it. That is the evidence for God.
You literally just did the exact thing that I told you we're not going to do, which is where you call and say, well, because there's no evidence, but something could still be true, even if we don't know it, then it could still be true. Are you serious?
Yes. Can you refute it?
Absolutely.
Can you refute that things don't need evidence?
Absolutely. The burden of proof is on you. If you're going to claim that something exists, then you need to provide evidence of it. Otherwise, I'm going to continue to not believe it, just like a million, billion, infinity other things that we can't even think of that we could assert. No, it doesn't. Zeno, you keep using words that you apparently don't know the meaning of at all, which is also frustrating.
Nihilism means you don't believe in anything or any intrinsic value in life. You don't believe.
Zeno, I believe in tons of things, which is how I know you don't know what the word nihilist means. I believe in lots of things. I don't believe in things that I don't have a good reason or evidence. I'm going to mute you in a second. I don't believe in things that I don't have good reason or evidence to believe. Do I believe I'm holding a cup in my hand right now? Yes, absolutely. Do I believe that any gods exist? No, because I don't have evidence that those gods exist. And your phone call, you wasted all of our time for 13 minutes to tell us that, well, something can exist even if we don't know about it. Cool, great. Call back when you actually have a reason to know that it's true. Otherwise, we can just say that you are somebody paid to be a troll and you're trying to make Christians look bad. And until you provide evidence to the contrary, that's true.
Well, I respect you taking the time. I'm not here to try to waste your time.
Can you refute that, Zeno? Zeno, can you refute that?
Yes. So if you don't try to craft my argument, let me refute that. I believe arguing with Christians is nearly impossible. Like, I used to be an atheist. I tried to argue with Christians. You can do it all day. Now, just because you simply don't believe, because you're incredulous, doesn't negate the facts. What is the facts? The facts is that things can exist without us having knowledge and evidence for it. Just like an animal may not have any evidence.
Nobody's denying that. You're right, there could be an animal somewhere in the Amazon, and I guarantee you there is, that none of us have ever heard of before that's not been discovered yet. And that animal exists, whether I believe that animal exists or not. Perfect. Am I believing in that animal right now? Am I believing that there's a whole entire new thing that's not an animal, that's not a plant, that's not anything that I've ever heard of before in my life, that we've never encountered before? Am I actively believing that? No. Same reason I'm not actively believing in aliens. No, because Zeno, why are we believing aliens? Zeno, oh God, why are we believing things that we don't have reason to believe?
Because we understand that's rational. We are not able to see past
in that case, and Zeno, you must believe every single claim ever presented to you unless you have evidence against it. That's how this works then.
No, I don't believe in
because that is what you're asserting. So follow your logic all the way through.
I don't believe in pink unicorns, nor do I believe in the spaghetti monster. Just because I understand,
just because you don't know, doesn't mean that evidence isn't out there that they exist.
Right, that's exactly right. So when I say I don't believe in something,
you should believe them.
No, I understand that
they're real. Sorry, they are there.
They're in my room right now.
They're there.
So okay,
they're here.
Can something be? So let's just say, if the tree exists, right? We can say, well, instead of a tree, how do we know it's not a spaghetti fucking string?
How do we know it's not your mom?
Wait, what'd you say about my mom?
Zeno, I don't think this call is going to go anywhere because you did the thing that I said we're not going to do on the call. And it's been 16 minutes.
Okay.
And we've talked to you before. And so, again,
Yes,
if you have evidence
can
someday,
I conclude then?
great. Conclude what?
Can I conclude? Just well, if you don't want to talk about it, it's no reason for me to call a show again. But I just want to say,
because you haven't given any evidence. Your evidence is that
I know
there's
you're
no
just gonna
evidence.
keep gaslighting it. I get it. I get
It's
it.
not gaslighting.
Please,
I'm repeating
I'm
exactly
you
what you're
to go
saying.
look up
It is a gaslight.
We're repeating back what you're saying. We literally are
Yes.
repeating back what you're saying, and then you're saying it's gaslighting. You're actually just hearing
Because you're
your
saying
own
I'm not giving you a
argument.
reason.
Because it's
You're saying
your
I'm
reason
not giving
is
you a
that
reason
your
to
reason
believe
is that there
something.
is no.
How are you able
Yeah,
to be
you're
the
saying that there
arbiter
is no
of reason?
I can tell you it's not going to be you in this conversation. So,
But you two are saying
your reason.
okay, you're not giving
your
me
reason
evidence.
is literally
giving you
what I
evidence.
said. Your reason is literally what I said earlier that Forrest has said before too, which is I don't know, therefore magic, and that's not how that works.
No, it's not magic because you don't understand it.
Zeno,
God
this
and
is a
magic
yes
are
or no
the freaking
question.
same.
Here's a yes or no question for you. Is something evidence just because someone asserts that it is evidence?
I missed the last two words. Is something evidence because of what?
Is something evidence just because someone asserts that it is evidence?
Define evidence. Is it a reason to believe something?
Is something evidence just because someone asserts that it is evidence?
Define evidence.
Would you like the dictionary definition?
I want you to tell me what you mean because I want to conversate with you.
The
What do
available
you
body
mean by
or
evidence?
the available body of facts or information indicating whether
Okay,
a belief
yes.
is true.
Okay, so what does the facts say? The facts say we don't understand everything about reality, right? Just because we can see stuff on the earth doesn't necessarily mean that's
Zeno,
the way things may appear
why are you
elsewhere.
running away from my question? Is something
I'm literally
evidence
answering
just
it. Your
because
only defense is to
something
gaslight?
evidence just because someone asserts that it is evidence?
Of course not.
Great. I'm glad we're clear on that.
Okay. So when you say there's no God,
I've
I'm
never said
simply
there is
saying
no
God is
God.
the creator.
I've never
Thomas.
said there's no God. So don't misrepresent my position.
Well, no, you have said that plenty of times in calls. I have listened to you for like almost 3 weeks. You obviously believe there's no God.
Zeno, please find a clip of me saying there is no God. Because what I will say is that I don't believe there are any gods. I call myself an agnostic atheist. I don't know and I don't believe.
Okay, so you don't know and you don't believe. So you don't believe things you cannot see. Is that correct? Like if you can't see it, you don't believe it? Is that what you're saying?
Nope, that's not correct. There's plenty of things I cannot physically see.
You can't see?
That I
what do you
can't
believe
see?
in that you can't see? Yeah.
Oxygen. Let's start there. I believe that my partner loves me. I can't see love. I believe that Alyssa's dogs are probably hanging out somewhere in her house right now, and I can't see them.
Yeah.
I believe that my patio lights are probably going to be turning on once the sun sets. There's all kinds of things I believe that I cannot see with my physical eyes.
Okay, that's fair. So a creator, if I asked you, do these like larger beings, way larger than fucking life, these beings exist, but you can't see them? They're not.
Hold on. How do you know that they're, quote, larger than life? How do you know what size they are? How do you know they're not microscopic?
Because things start small and get larger. Like we have subatomic particles, and then you have photons, you have larger particles that get bigger and bigger and bigger. We have evidence that
I gotta tell you, I don't know. I don't think that you know how to have this conversation.
I don't think you. What do you mean? I'm not gonna brag about my credentials. There's no point. Are you saying things don't start off at a subatomic particle level and get larger? Is that what you're saying?
things don't start out. I'm asking how you know the size of the gods you believe in.
That's what we're talking about. It's size comparison. So subatomic particles, very tiny. Then you got planets like Jupiter.
How do you know
large.
that the god isn't subatomic?
Also,
because it's large. We have things that are larger.
How do you know that it's large, Zeno? You can't answer basic questions. You just assert things over and over and over. You can see God.
You can do science. You can do science on it. You can observe
do science.
Things
This
small
is really
being large.
Science on it. I feel like this is where I want to leave the call. We will try to go do some science on it and see if we can see your God. And other than that,
I actually am just curious what your credentials are, if you don't mind sharing, because I am
know
curious.
What my credentials are? Sure. So I'm a mathematician, neurologist, and an investor. I've been in the field for 20 years. I don't think there's a point to give you topology because I don't think the audience would understand it. I don't think you would understand it. So I'm trying to make this simple. I'm trying to explain it like you're 5. Things exist.
We are no one who watches this show is 5. The 2 hosts that you're talking to are not 5, and the people who watch this show and us too are grown adults who have these conversations every single week.
He's 7.
Okay, well,
my nephew's
7. But that's great. I'm saying the people who participate in this show are grown, and you can speak to us all grown. I promise.
I just want to make it simple as possible. It's not meant to be an insult. I'm just simply saying my whole argument is that things exist, and you can move on to other callers after this one goes. I agree, it's going nowhere, but I just wanted to present that I think God is a being. God is a being. He's not omniscient. I don't believe in religion. I'm just saying that God is a being, a collective of beings, kind of like human beings, that have intelligence, that create stuff. You said, where's the evidence? I said, extrapolate what we see humans do, what we see animals do, what we see ants do. Extrapolate that information. There you go. You're able to see that beings create on a larger scale. A group of intellects, a group of
You're
intelligence.
committing
it's
so
not
many
just one.
within this one argument that it's kind of like a fun thing to point out. Maybe people in the comments can pick their favorite one that you're using, but yeah, I think we're getting nowhere. I didn't hear any evidence. I heard
no refutation.
An assumption that because something else is made by something else, then it must mean everything is made by this being that I've thought of in my head that I have no other actual
everything.
You've given us claims, and again, no evidence. But thank you, Zeno.
God
We
isn't
are
an
going to move
arbiter of
on
everything.
to other callers now.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. I hate when I know what the argument is, and I say, please, you're not going to do this, are you? And then that's what they do. Why? Why would you do that? At least tell me then. Just be like, well, that was going to be my argument. So then I can say, okay, cool. I'm not interested in it then, because I don't need you to call in and say, well, something can be true even if you don't know it yet. Okay, great. Call me back when you know it and you have reason for me to know it too.
It felt like, I don't know. It felt like he was just trying to use, and the chat is picking up on this also. He just kept trying to use like random SAT words every now and again. And I don't really believe that he's a neurologist, mathematician, investor. I think that that's sort of like you bought that costume at Spirit Halloween. Like, I don't believe any of that. Also, like, extrapolate.
You're a neurologist and you said you can do the science on it.
Do the science on it.
Pardon me if that is a term that is commonly used in that field, but I have not heard that one before.
As a licensed esthetician? No.
Exactly.
Definitely not.
Shall we talk to Travis, who specifically wants to find out your thoughts on something, which I'm also interested to hear your thoughts on?
Sure.
Okay. Well, let's see if I can do it. Hey, Travis, you are live with Promise and Alyssa. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm watching the world burn from the second best seat in the house. but otherwise good. So I might preface this just by saying that I'm sort of trying to marshal my thoughts, organize things into a conversation that I'm leaning towards not even entering into with a student of mine or future students of mine. And Alyssa, I wanted your thoughts in particular. So I'm a martial arts coach, and in terms of the need for sports bras, I don't feel like it's my place to say, hey kid, you really look uncomfortable. I think you might need more support. But at the same time, it pains me to see my kids needing gear that they're not utilizing.
Do they have a parent that is around,
Yes.
buzzing around? Could you... I'm trying to think, because my first thought was if you could have a conversation with the parent from that perspective and just be like really honest and say, I don't want you to take this the wrong way at all. And if it feels out of line, please know that that's not the intention. But I've noticed that your daughter might be uncomfortable and might feel better with extra support in like maybe like a more, I don't even know. I'm trying. That's really tough. Maybe
Can you send out a
ask-
mass email reminding parents of gear that their kids need to have, including, I don't know, stuff that boys also should possibly
That's a great idea.
have access to, and list several clothing items as a reminder, like, and reasons beside each wardrobe piece why that might be necessary.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Or can you have a school nurse discuss that with the kids?
So I don't teach in public schools anymore. Okay. But yes, unsurprisingly, Promise had a wonderful idea. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
for
a
once,
great
I thought
idea.
this was going to be all Alyssa, but then my nanny logistics brain goes to like, what's a technically helpful way to handle this? And I feel like sending out a mass reminder. I think sometimes parents maybe just need that reminder. Also, then you kind of have to just trust that, like, let it go and let people figure it out on their own too, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a conversation that traditionally over the last decades, I haven't had any problem having a similar conversation with my cisgendered boy students because I was in the same boat growing up. But when you step outside of that, I feel, well, maybe this isn't my place to say.
Yeah, there's boundaries for sure. But I think that's why, like, a mass email, maybe get ChatGPT to help you draft up something really professionally stated to help.
Never ChatGPT.
Make it. whatever floats your boat. Like,
so much.
I'm just like logistically, that might be the easiest way to do that without potentially offending or anything like that, you know?
Wonderful. Yeah, because I really didn't want to get into any kind of a realm, especially of saying something like, oh, cover yourself, child.
Sure, of course.
Like
well, and with an email, then you have a paper trail, so you kind of cover your own, like, if you have one-on-one conversations, even with parents, you know, then there's like he said, she said, and things can get, sometimes communication breaks down. But if you have something just like really clear in writing, hey, here's an announcement for everybody, something to keep in, you know, to please remember, go over your, you know, I don't know, uniform checklist. These are things that all students should have if needed.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Travis. Have a great evening.
Thanks, Travis.
Bye. Look at my nanny
Promise
skills coming back in.
Great.
Wow.
Because
I was like, oh, did I have a thought about this?
That was great. That was so great. Well done.
Wow. Is this how you feel now in conversation with Thea? You're just like crushing it?
And with conversations with theists, no. My function in conversations with theists is mostly yelling at them.
No, but you've had some real good questions lately. You've been
really try.
You've been on point. You're crushing
I really
it.
try.
We have
I did write in the.
Oh, go ahead.
I did write in the chat that Zeno can extrapolate my ass because I'm over him. He's the worst.
That word. I understand. Sometimes people have like a favorite word, but we've got
It's
2 last calls, and I think we can take them both if we just kind of go through them quickly. Are you down for that? If we keep them brief, and if we discover that one of the calls needs more time, then we'll just save it for next week. But don't forget super chats of $5 or more. If you guys get those in now, we'll have time to read them at the end of the show. So we've got Jem here, who wants to talk with us from the UK. Hey, Jem, how are you tonight?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
Pretty good. There's a bit of sound. I'm not sure if it's wind or something. Maybe it's okay now.
No, it's all right. Just boiling the kettle.
Ah, nice. What did you want to talk with us about tonight?
Well, I just wanted to offer a little bit of solidarity first with Zeno, because I was waiting whilst you were on the line with him. Just felt one of the comments, I don't know who it was by, a little untoward towards him regarding a family member. I felt that was a little bit crass. But,
that was me trolling. That was me fully trolling, not about his family member. There's a thing called a your mom joke, and I was intentionally trolling because Zeno has called us multiple times, and at this point I'm starting to feel is potentially a troll, and other hosts have had similar conversations. So there is context there.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I still stand by my comment. Just sending solidarity there with Zeno.
I'm sure Zeno really appreciates it and feels better now.
Well, let's not. I don't want to trivialize it or for it to be trivialized. I genuinely, sincerely want to send that out there to him. Yes, I just want to know where this confidence comes from, really, in knowing and understanding the world, because you seem to be, both of you seem really sort of confident, which is fine, great, but I just don't share that same confidence.
I don't really have confidence. I just I'm aware that I don't know hardly anything, and I'm aware that I do my best with the things that I do know, and that I have values that I attempt to follow, and I'm willing to change my mind when I'm presented good reason to, and otherwise following my values has served me well in life, and I have evidence to back that. So if you want to call that confidence, I guess. Alyssa and I are professional yappers. That's what we're public facing people, and so there's that. Yeah. But I guess you'd have to define confidence, because there's plenty of things I'm not confident about.
It's just this. There seems to be this sort of assurance from many atheists that they've got life figured out. I think it's
acceptance. No, it's acceptance. It's acceptance that there's so many things we can't figure out, and so we're just going to live our lives in the meantime. Because what else are we going to do?
Yeah, but you're constantly sort of chastising people for believing in something. If I want to boil it down,
So Jim, I just want to remind you, Jim, that the internet is not real. Jim, I'm in the middle of talking. Actually, I'll mute him. We'll see if he listens. The internet is not real life. So while for part of my job we have conversations where Alyssa and I are paid to talk to people. We are paid to have expertise about certain subjects, or to just be honest enough to know how to have conversations where even if we don't have expertise, we can do our best to engage honestly. And so when we have theists call in, they know that they're calling to have their debate, their beliefs scrutinized. What I post on one specific social media account is also not real life. That's me making general arguments and conversations. A lot of it is to help funnel over nuanced conversations over here. So let's not apply this whole, you go around whatever the word is that you used. Oh, did we already lose him? He hung up. Oh, I guess he wasn't confident enough to have that conversation with us.
That was crazy because he literally, that conversation
he offered condolences for your mom joke.
for your mom joke, I hope Zeno's okay. Zeno wasn't even offended by that. Also, he literally called just being like, "Hey, I'm just wondering where the fuck you get the audacity from." Like that was literally his entire call. And also, there, like, every time we have these calls, it's because someone called us. Like you've said many times, your family is still religious, my family's still religious. We're not debating our family members. Like that's not what's happening here. These are people who are calling because they believe that they have proof of something, and then the burden of proof is on them because they called. So, like, I don't actually give a crap what people believe as long as it doesn't infringe on the freedom and rights of other people.
Right,
it's fine.
Right, which is why I have a platform on social media that people can choose to go participate in or not. You will never catch me in the comments of some Christian video. Like, I'm just not doing that. Sometimes when apologists make a video about me, occasionally I will go respond in the comments there. Typically, I don't even do that. But there is a big, like, yikes.
That was crazy.
That was really funny, though. That was so funny. Calling to give their, like, basically sympathy for somebody who had to hear a your mom joke after Zeno was the one, I don't know if you remember, laughing at us. I think it was even last week, maybe. Some call recently. Just being condescending and being dishonest in a conversation. I threw out a comedic break for all of us. And then you want to call and say, where do you get the audacity? Where do you get the audacity to make a phone call and ask the hosts of their own show, where do you get the audacity to do this? Like,
that was so interesting.
I love
that was
it,
so
though.
Interesting. It's like I get the audacity the same way that every person of faith has the audacity to, like, wear their crosses, and because that's like, it's just, I don't know if that's the right analogy. That was just so bizarre. What a bizarre.
Somebody
that was so
in the
strange.
Chat said Jim was not arguing against Promise and Alyssa. He's arguing with Facebook memes. Yeah, like, actually, that is kind of how it felt. But yes, fascinating.
Also, the fact that he was like, I'm standing in solidarity.
Solidarity of what? Honestly, I missed my opportunity to make a your mom joke to Jim.
I
should have said I'm standing in solidarity
with your mom. You're standing in solidarity of being a fucking nerd. What are you talking about?
Like, we have one last call. Shall we talk to our dear friend Joe in Australia?
Yeah, I would love to.
Hello, Joe. I saved you for after that call because I didn't know how that call was going to go, but I knew it would be a delight to speak with you. How are you doing?
You're a palate cleanser for us.
Yeah. So my call is I work in community service, and one of the organizations, I won't name drop because could potentially be like a slight negative to it, but it's not really a negative. Anyway, they do a lot of great work, but some of their talk and sort of thing is from like a spiritual aspect, and as a skeptic working there, I'm a little uncomfortable with that talking, and the more I'm going to be working with them, the more I might even potentially have to use those talking points. And I'm just wondering about, like, how do you feel about, like, setting aside your disbelief or, like, skeptic hat for the greater good, essentially?
I think if you can do that while remaining authentic to yourself, whatever, only you know what that looks like, then absolutely. I mean, I've spoken in churches before that have, obviously they were a certain amount of progressive because they were cool with me coming in. And I kind of read the room and was able to navigate like what I thought was appropriate and helpful. I did one time, I just basically, I had a whole thing that I was going to talk about. And then I was like, you know what? I don't know that most of these people have ever even talked to an atheist before. So I did a Q&A, and that was great. So I think there's ways to do that while still remaining true to yourself. Again, I'm not hearing like specific details, so I can't offer you specific advice, but the general concept, yes, I think it's really frustrating, this idea that we must let everyone know every opinion and every stance we have at all times, or else, you know, we're not being our real selves. I don't think that's true at all. I think there's such thing as tact and nuance and knowing what's appropriate when, and what's, like you said, for the greater good, what's most helpful. And now what I don't advise, you know, then you hear, I'll have people say, well, my family wants me to keep going to church, and it is just absolutely eating me alive, and I can't stand it. And every time I sit there, I get so triggered and all of that. Then it's like, well, just for the sake of making your family member feel like, oh, okay, they're at church, not a great reason. But if you can do something and it's not going to negatively impact your mental health and you're not going against your own personal values, then there's I don't think we have to sit and walk in and be like, well, I don't believe any of this, and I don't think you reason to either, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I suppose the way I rationalize it is some of the things are just different perspective. Like, for example, they're doing breath work and they're approaching it from like a spiritualistic perspective of like, this gets you connected to your soul and those sorts of things. And obviously I don't jive with that, but I do know that there are psychological benefits to breath work. So I personally focus on, and not we're going about it. We have different approaches to this, but we're both. There is a psychological benefit to doing this. So even though that they are focusing on this aspect, it's still overall beneficial because I know that there's science behind it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then I think
feel
individual
the same way about
conversations
stuff like that.
Yeah, individual conversations, you can decide how, if you want to bring some curiosity to the moment or something. But sorry, Alyssa, I interrupted you.
I recently had this conversation at an art gallery thing, and someone was talking about manifestation, and it was so interesting because they were talking about it, and then someone point blank asked, and I was just not contributing to the conversation because I don't really want to, like, if they're enjoying their conversation and like it has nothing to do with me, I don't really want to be in there and be like, well, I don't believe any of that's real. So I just didn't say anything. But then someone point blank asked me what my thoughts were. And I just said, I know it's like valuable for some people. It's not really my thing. But like, if I'm looking for the silver lining in it, I think if you are telling yourself every single day that you're gonna, make $10,000 by the, I don't know, $10,000 is, I was gonna say by the end of the year, but I hope people make more than $10,000 by the end of the year. But whatever, if you're gonna make $100,000 by the end of the year, I know, right? You're more likely to make choices that are aligned with what might get you there. Like, I think it just sets you up for like a positive mind space. Sure, like that's great. But I don't really, I don't align with everything else. But I only said something when I was point blank asked. But I think if people aren't asking you, it's sort of like sometimes I think it can be a situation of like, take from it that the things that you find valuable, like in the breathwork example, it's like, we know that deep breathing can really help regulate your nervous system. And we know like positive affirmations and things like that are really good for your brain and whatever. Like, take the things from it that you like, and the rest just like disregard to the best of your ability.
Yeah. Sounds good. And like, I say because the main aim of this is essentially suicide prevention. So like I have like the opinion of anything that stops someone from committing suicide
Yeah.
is a good thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, even if I personally think it might be the wrong reasoning behind it, I'm just glad that the person's alive, and so I focus on that as well.
Yeah,
I think that's the right attitude to have.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thanks so
All
much,
right.
Joe.
Thank you for your thoughts.
Always love these. We'll chat with you again soon, I hope.
Yep. All right. Take care.
Thanks, Joe.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yes, I think reading the room, observing the situation, knowing, like prioritizing the greater good, as Joe put it, is a good place to be. But now we get to go to Super Chats.
Yay! And someone in the chat, the covert deconvert, that's a funny name, said sometimes you just got to pick your battles instead of being the well actually person every time.
Totally.
Yeah. They're
I
not
agree.
the most fun person in the room, so I agree.
No, they're not at all. They're usually the most annoying one.
Yeah.
Well, let's see our super chats. I feel like we're wrapping calls even earlier than usual, maybe, but I also feel like we got some interesting calls in.
Yeah, we had. I know. And also, we've been talking about doing a long show maybe next week. And
when we say long, we just mean like we're not Forrest and Erica. Let's just start there.
No, we're not doing 7 hours. I don't know. We'll chat offline about like what long means, but I think because we didn't really do much for celebrating the anniversary of Chew to Gum, I think we can have one long show that is
next week.
That's gonna be next week.
Gosh, I also maybe we can put together a little clip of like some of our favorite moments this last year. Like, I wonder if you and I have time. I don't know if you have time this weekend, but I probably have time to go take a few of my faves, and maybe we could all watch that together. Yeah.
That would be so cute. I love that plan.
And what if we did for super chats? What if we made them kind of like a Q&A, like where we can talk about stuff that's not really relevant? Finally, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know what kind of things, but
yeah.
Anyway,
I meant to say for super chats, like I had a prompt in mind based on literally whatever clip it was that I watched you and Forrest on recently. You guys were talking about what like fantasy world you would choose to live in if you could live in like any like.
Did I say Barbie Land?
And you did say Barbie Land. And Forrest was like, at first I thought Lord of the Rings, and then I thought about it some more, and I don't think Lord of the Rings anymore.
That'd be terrifying. But that's a great idea for super chat prompt. Also, your mom jokes, because I heard that you guys are putting them in the chat, and I would like to hear your mom joke. That's what she said is also. So my husband and I say your mom jokes like an insane. Honestly, it has to be hundreds of times a day. Like, it's gotten to the point where it's kind of like we just say it. It's just nonsensical. Anyways,
it's so silly and so cute.
But yes, Fantasyland or your mom joke, any of those are welcome here. Also, welcome here. $5 from the Raven 200. Butts.
Just butts.
Just butts.
Yeah, for sure. $10 from the Bastille, +1 for Tuesday. Tuesday is good.
10 pounds from Herbie Shine. Thank you, Herbie.
Thank you, Herbie. $4.99 from Giddy. Oh, fucking hell. Morgan! He does this to me every time.
This is my new favorite thing. And I just really love that it happened to you instead of me.
It always happens to me by design. British Cockney pirate. Arg, me matey. Betty bought a bit of butter, but the butter was bitter, so Betty bought bitter butter to make the bitter butter better. There you go.
Okay, that was your best reading yet. You're kind of getting good at this now. Impressive.
That was, oh my God. If I get good at it, will you stop giving them to me?
You're going to get so good at it that it's...
Damn!
Wow, I truly love this, and I love my luck.
Thought I had him.
$5 from Joshua Everett. Just a bit of love for the line in general, our wonderful hosts of Chewed Gum specifically, and my fellow Oregonian, Alyashana's joke. Yes, that was a great one, and thank you.
It was. $5 from Clownfish. Thank you both for talking about dating struggles for both men and women. Anytime. Dating is hard.
Anybody. The gentlemen, ladies, theys. Isn't there a way to say that where everything rhymes? But I did it wrong. Anyways.
The
girls, the gays, and the theys. Right?
That's the one.
That's it. That's what I meant. But also, also the men or the boys or whatever you want to call it. Is this one mine?
I think it's mine.
Go.
Okay. $19.99 from Jeremy. He's your boyfriend now. Nice work, Alyssa. Knew you'd reel him in. Okay, story time. Met my girlfriend because she was best friends with my ex. When their ex dumped me, we hooked up. Revenge brought us together in 2015, and here we are. Listen.
Hilarious. Listen, the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Certainly does. I also got a text from boyfriend. Literally, I was texting him to be like, "Oh, I mentioned safe and good," and as I was texting it, he goes, "Safe and good is yours."
Is boyfriend watching?
He was. He stopped because he's getting his tire fixed, but he was watching earlier.
We love a person that takes care of their car. $5 from Clownfish. I have a funny dating app thing to share. I hope I can call in the future, but I work nights and I'm usually getting ready for work when you're live. Yes, do. Or send in, well, maybe it's too long for a super chat, but thanks, Clownfish.
$10 from Astro. That's my dog's name. I'm currently in the hospital for major health issues, and Zeno is already the worst thing I've had to deal with today.
Oh, I'm so sorry on both accounts. And hopefully you get better soon.
Boyfriend is watching, and I would like him to know that in the chat, Jeremy said, shout out to Mr. Alyssa, which is hilarious.
I love it. You know that over on my Instagram, they call Yuka Mr. Was Framed. Eve was framed.
Oh my God.
It. Hi, boyfriend.
I love it.
$4.99 from Jamnik06. You've got great cheeks. Alyssa to promise. Speaking of cheeks, is butt cheeks one word or should I spread them apart? Hashtag butt joke. Hashtag not a poop joke. I love that neither of us thought anything of you saying that.
Nope. $5 from DaCosta. Zeno, some of us are degenerates. None of us are stupid. Right.
Sorry that Zeno was infantilizing the chat, everyone.
That was
I stand in solidarity with you all.
Standing in solidarity. Also, that was insane that he was like, I'm going to boil it down to talk to them like they're 5. Which is insane because even talking to us like we're 5, your point still made no sense. So I don't know how much more you had to boil it down for it to make sense. Where the point is, where it makes sense.
Also using terms like extrapolate and gaslighting and nihilism all in places where they don't belong in sentences was,
right.
Try that on a 5-year-old. $10 from the Raven 200. Hey fam, just a reminder to prioritize your mental health. It's a total skibbity vibe. Don't underestimate the riz of reaching out for help. We all in this together, fam. Stay lit. Hashtag you matter, yo. I need Alyssa to translate so much of that. But riz, isn't that like charisma? Is that where that comes from?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is skibbity?
I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
And
if you don't know, then I definitely don't need to know. We're
leaving that with the youths. I don't want to know. That they can have skibbity and whatever the hell that means. $9.99 from Jeremy. Zeno waited all day to make his case, and all he came up with was just trust me, bro. Literally.
Which is what I said was going to happen. Very frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
$10 from Bobby Kinniston. I like to pretend I'm quoting the Bible, but use JC Superstar lyrics. My fave is, and Jesus spoke unto the lepers, don't crowd me, leave me alone, heal yourselves. The word of our Lord. Amen. That's great. I love that.
We love you, Bobby. $5 from Flabbergasted, who was screening calls today. Thank you so much for doing that.
Oh, thank
How do
you.
we know-
You're the best.
Yeah, that was awesome. How do we know it's not your mom? I think you just became my favorite host. Don't tell Forrest or Erica or Durante or Alyssa. Honestly, she's my favorite host too.
Yeah, mine too. But also, apparently, what I said was really wrong, and we should stand in solidarity with Zeno for his mom, I guess. And my audacity was too high, so.
I also like that when you made your mom joke, he said, "What did you say about my mom?" Like it was like a
that
serious.
Was perfect. It was honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better response. And I just I was just like, can we just fuck around as much as you're fucking around in this conversation? And so I did. Yeah. $5 from Aaliyah Silverbow. Have you heard the joke about gaslighting? Because I think you have. No, seriously. Hashtag Zeno doesn't know what gaslighting is. Hashtag death. Yeah, for real. Also, I saw in the chat that someone said Owen does your mom jokes, which I'm literally going to text Owen and say that we have something really important to bond over now. And then I'm going to say, it's your mom. Anyways.
It's your mom. Also, someone in the chat was saying that Zeno was gaslighting himself, which is hilarious.
That's incredible.
Really good. $5 from Aliyah Shauna Silverbow. A mathematician, a neurologist, and an investor walk into a bar. Zeno gaslights them into thinking they're all him. There's a joke in here somewhere.
That's honestly so good. Oh, yeah. Man. $5 from Joshua. I was like, oh no, Promise is sick. Then I was like, oh, she looks fine. She's just not wearing makeup, which is perfectly allowed to do. Yeah, this is just me. Also, I do want to make a complaint about my lighting that I have had always. I don't know how to get it right because I can tell you right now that this is not what I look like in person. First of all, this lipstick is dark. Like if you know Star Woman, it's dark. It's, you know what I look like? Go to my Instagram story because that's where that's my actual, I think, in front of this same light. So it doesn't make sense to me. Somebody sent me an email one time that said that I look, do you remember this, Alyssa? It said, it said that I look like gaunt, not gaunt, because it was a word that means yellow. They were like, you look,
was it like
jaundice
or something?
Jaundice, something like that. It was maybe they said that it was something like that. They're a professional photographer and they're telling me that I need to fix my lighting basically because they're telling me how it makes me look sick. So thanks everybody.
Insane. Also, I wonder if it's your camera, like your camera settings.
I have the same camera as you.
I know.
And I just have it on the automatic settings.
Yeah, you could play with those settings a little bit, and it might. We should
more accurate.
We'll come on earlier next Tuesday, and we can play around with your lighting if you want.
Okay, thank you, a true friend. Meanwhile, everyone in the chat can just think that I'm sick,
jaundiced. $5 Australian from PhD Tony. My undergraduate degree was mathematics. This guy is a simple liar. No mathematician can have such an appalling lack of understanding of formal logic. That's what I was thinking. Mathematician, neurologist, and then what was the other thing?
An investor. Why are you?
Oh yeah,
the
investor was the best part. The investor was the best part.
What are you investing in? We should have investigated his credentials a bit more.
That was. Yeah, I would like to see proof of it. And also, he was the one who brought up his credentials. I would have never in a million years asked.
He was waiting.
Freaking weirdo.
$5 from Melatonin Ale. We should do the science on whether or not this was the worst Zeno interaction. Yikes.
Do the science.
Part of me is like, I think Zeno is being 100% real. And then part of me thinks that they're totally just a troll. Usually I'm swaying on one side more than the other, but this, I really can't figure this one out.
I can't figure him out either.
I can't wait for you to read this one.
Can't. Okay, $5 from the Raven 200. Zeno can extrapolate D's nuts. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. For real, he always does this. Either a troll or just not equipped for this. His argument is literally, trust me, bro. That's what I'm like, I can't understand. Like, when we start talking in circles where we're like, give us evidence. And he's like, my evidence is exactly what I said. And I'm like, I actually don't know what to say to you after this.
666 from Hank says things. If Zeno is so smart, why can he make a dozen calls and never get to a single flamin' point, and also say however it was said, instead of extrapolate.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, maybe this might just be a troll.
Yeah. And he also reminds me of, we had one guy call who, it was like a clip that I posted also at some point too, where he was like, you said we've been on this call for 45 minutes. And he said, yeah, and I haven't even gotten to my point yet. And I went, exactly.
Wait, that was the same person?
Yeah, no, different. It wasn't Zeno. It was someone else.
Sorry. I got that confused, but yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
$10 Canadian from Quantum Chaos. This super chat serves no purpose. It is only here to waste time for everyone. Anyways, how's everyone doing? I lost my voice last week and I still can't talk. It sucks. Anyways, you guys like stuff?
Yeah.
I like some stuff. I like some things occasionally.
19 from Jeremy. Saying you're a neurologist into a room full of skeptics after saying do science to it is a bold move. If you're an investor, invest in some hobbies or friends and stop arrogantly condescending to people smarter than you. It was pretty rough, guys.
Also, every time he said, and Rocket Renegade, you just reminded me of this, every time he kept saying that God is a being, it sounded like he was saying God is a bean. And so I just kept God is a bean.
We should have misunderstood and should have been like, well, what do you, so it's a bean that's larger than life?
Yeah.
That's a big bean.
If there was that's a big bean.
It's a really big bean.
Yeah. What are we talking? Lima? What is it? I'd like to know. Kidney. 5.
Pause real quick. Can I share?
Yeah.
This is going to sound disgusting, so I'm going to share it. My new favorite snack is a can of beans. Yesterday it was butter beans.
Okay.
A dollop of sour cream, like high quality, good sour cream. Some dill, some lemon juice, and some garlic. Grate some fresh garlic. Stir it up. It's almost like a bean cereal situation in the lemon juice and sour cream. And it's really
you had me
good.
Until you called it bean cereal.
But I know it looks, and honestly, it looks like it's just beans like floating in like lemon juice, sour cream stuff. But I promise.
As you were going, I was like, that sounds like a delicious bean salad. And then you just went bean cereal. And that was so much
because it is a bit like I ate it out of a bowl. Like, anyways, trust me, it's a great snack.
It sounds delicious. It's like, oh my god, that was so cute. Bean cereal. £5 from Mystic Minds Analysis Tavern. What do a really old vintage car and a classroom have in common? They both have a bunch of nuts and an old crank up front. #joke week. Wait, a bunch of nuts and an old. Okay, got it. Okay, we got it.
Do you get it now?
That took me a second. I was honestly still laughing at bean
cereal. My cereal takes lately are real controversial. So.
Oh my goodness. But I agree with the shredded wheat ones because they get very.
You have to eat them separate. Yes, you add them one at a time.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that tomorrow.
Good, enjoy it. $5 from the Raven 200 by order of the line. Hey host, what song best describes Zeno? My pick is Dumb All Over by Frank Zappa, but all the satire is meant to be for real. Poor
Truly.
Zeno is now getting his own playlist.
$5 from Lark. Promise, I listened to your music for the first time, and wow, you remind me of Kay Flay or early Avril. P.S. I found out my BFF is Jimmy's sister. Weird. Whoa, that's crazy.
Wild.
Small world.
Thanks so much for listening to my music. We have new music coming hopefully very soon. So, thank you. $5 from Catherine Sleep 79. You're so vain, Carly Simon. You're so vain, I bet you think this song is about you. I'm assuming this is in reference to Zeno. Yes.
Yeah.
Or
wait, actually,
maybe, was it? Or did we
wait,
put out another?
Morgan said...
It was.
Okay, it was.
Oh, it is? Okay. Oh, that best portrays Zeno. Okay. $5 from Bobby Keniston. Jim, Zeno, I want you to know I stand in solidarity with you, man. Zeno, a single tear. Thanks, Jim. My heart will go on, please. They lock eyes. Kiss, kiss,
God.
kiss, kiss.
So funny. $5 from Alia Shauna Silverbow. Your mom is so slow. It took her 2 hours to watch 60 minutes. Hashtag your mom jokes for promise.
That's
Hashtag
good.
dad. That's really good. That's a great one.
$5 from Mac. Possible song to represent Zeno. Sad, Sad Alpha Man by Vinnie Marchi. Yeah. Maybe. Oh my gosh, sorry.
Yeah, we didn't get to his thoughts on. Wow. That was
Sorry.
so violent looking. We didn't get to his
That was.
thoughts on anything else yet.
I
$4.99
just
from
wanted
Sarah
to
Talks
circle.
Podcast. I got a bingo, so have a super chat. Oh, thanks, Sarah.
Oh, exciting. That was like one of the shortest doggy snuggles I've ever had on this show. They are not with me. Oh my God. Morgan.
Oh, I love this community.
$10 from Mr. Boricua 10. This is cyberbullying. British, it's Tuesday, isn't it? A calm show only to be derailed by the Zeno and Jim both being absolutely dishonest and unable to listen to reason and all. However, we have Joe to thank for being lovely. There you go.
Well done. Also, I really like that you're starting to add the British accent onto words that
On the other
they
things.
didn't put it on. Yeah, well, you're doing it.
I
You
know,
know?
guys. Like, I know it sounds like Harry Styles is in the call. He's not. Just to level set expectations.
Harry
He's not here.
Styles. $5 from Cheeseburger. Yo mama's so extrapolated. I have a concept of her. Hashtag swing and a miss. That's really good.
That's so good.
So good. Okay, I can't keep my hair up anymore. It's hurting my head, but it's going to be crazy. So everyone enjoy. Now I'm sick and my hair looks insane. So
Crazy.
I'm not actually sick. Everyone just thinks I look sick. Let me clarify.
$5 from Squidward Q Sagan. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We love you. Thank you for
I
your
like that we
support.
both just stared at it like, what do we read? $4.99 from Jamnick06. Response to a your mom joke. Hey, get off my mom. I just got off yours.
Oh my
That's really
God.
good.
That's
That's
crazy.
really
That's a good one.
I'm going to use that. Probably
Also,
not to
Jamnick
Zeno
sent me-
because Jim will stand in solidarity with him. So
Ridiculous. Jamnick sent me a picture from a few pictures actually from Flow. What the heck is it called? Free Flow. And so I got to see this whole big group picture, and I know a bunch of you guys are in there, and there's some chewed gum merch, and it's really exciting. And I see Jamnick in there too. Yeah, I will. Jamnick06, he was wearing chewed gum merch, and I'm so happy. Thank you. And yeah, it just makes me really happy. So yeah, I'll send you them too.
think I'm going to be at an American Atheist Convention, so maybe I'll get to see some of you there. Should be amazing. Is this me? $10 from SJL. My fantasy world is actually science fiction. Heinlein's, is that how you say that? Number of the Beast. They jump from universe to universe, but they are all the characters' favorite fictional universes. That's cool.
That sounds very interesting. Fun. 10. What is that?
You got this. You got this. You know this
10.
one.
10.
Look at what
here's the
letter
thing.
look at what letter that symbol looks like. Look at what
Latvian
and then
It
think
looks
French.
like an E. It's what?
Latvian
No, it's not.
French.
It's a euro. No, it's not. It's a euro. Is it? It's because it looks like a euro, but I feel like I said that once and I was wrong, and now I feel really worried that I'm going to say the wrong thing. But I think it's a euro. Okay, well, 10 something from Sammy RC, because I'm scared to say the wrong thing. Just curious because of a discussion I had about your mom jokes. Are they sexist or somewhat against women in your opinion? Maybe only if used in a specific way. Thanks, love the show. Yeah, I think it's like the way you use them. Also,
Yeah.
okay, I knew it was euros and I was scared to say it, and then a Markin came in here and said the craziest thing, and now I'm stressed. Anyway,
I wanted to see how long I was going to go on for, but
10 monies,
hilarious.
exactly, that's right.
I mean, I'm the wrong person to ask because stuff like that just doesn't affect. I hate how much we've started policing so many things like that when I'm not going around saying your mom jokes like when I go to the grocery store and there's a clerk.
Yeah.
I'm saying them to my husband and I'm saying them to a troll on the line, apparently. So and apparently Owen does it too. So $5 from President Starscream. You know who else doesn't get your mom jokes? My mom. #Muscleman, fantasy world of choice, Star Trek, because that human society is pure fantasy. Yes.
Fun. $9.99 from Jeremy. Gotta go. Have a great night. Zeno's mom is calling me. I love it.
Solid.
I love it. Oh my God.
$20 from Duffelbag 420. Happy first year, Chewed Gum. Thank you. It's been a great year.
It's one of my favorite things in the world to do. I love it. $4.99 from Gemnick06. Zeno's mom has got it going on. Hell yeah.
That's great.
Zeno's mom has got it going on.
$10 from the Raven 200. If Zeno is a mathematician, neurologist, and an investor, then I'm Kratos, Ash Ketchum, and Mookiel Myers. Maybe that was meant to say Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
Okay, great. Glad I stressed over that. Glad to know I defeated Zeus, became the very best, and terrorized hadn't-filled Illinois. Thank you.
That's so funny. Yeah. Oh, I think Haddonfield is where Michael Myers, I think, is. I don't know. I'll look it up later. $10 from Catherine Sleep? I don't know. 79.
Catherine Sleep.
Catherine Sleep. Okay, I'm worried about doing a long show. I'm worried about doing a long show.
Looking good for us.
It's not looking good, and it always gets like this around this time. It's like 8:45 my time, and we all start turning into pumpkins and saying the craziest stuff and can't read. I don't know. We're gonna try, but it's gonna get funky. Okay. Promise you're rocking a French style, no eye makeup, bold lip, and a messy updo. I had to sell cosmetics in my pre-grad days. It was better pay than other retail. Love.
Nice.
Yeah, that is very French.
Thank you for rebranding my look for me.
Yeah. I love it.
$4.99 from Homespin Covers. My wife, a Christian, said she would watch the line more often if you stopped people like Zeno from calling so often, or at least end the call sooner. Please get some other theists to call. That would be helpful. That was our only two non-atheist callers was Zeno and then Solidarity Jim. So yeah,
Solidarity Jim.
It would be nice, and we do try to get them to call in, but we'll see. Well, that wraps our show. Thank you guys so much. Love you all, and thank you so much to our call screener for stepping in tonight, last minute, and Amargan, as usual, our favorite producer. Hope you guys
we
have
love
a great
you so
night.
much.
We'll see you.
Shout out to all of our patrons. Go to patreon.com/totalline. Hang out with us there. We love you.